Hello everyone, this is the Sleep Paralysis Guy, and in this episode of the Uninvited Guest series, I looked up old comments from both Facebook and Reddit users. Not being able to move while feeling like you're about to die can be a very terrifying experience. So sit back, relax, as we dive into the darkness together, because you are not alone. This next post comes from Reddit user Dino. This weekend I was home alone because all my roommates went to go visit their families, so I was taking an afternoon nap on the couch when I heard the door open and someone walking towards me. I could only see the shadows, but I thought it was one of my roommates coming home early, so I wasn't scared. I looked at the shadow thing and it stared back at me. I couldn't move, but I also didn't really try moving. I just kinda lied there, looking at the shadow. I went away and I got back to sleep. I only realized that I was home alone later and I kinda got scared. People told me I had sleep paralysis, but everywhere I looked, people were talking about scary experiences and mine was pretty chill. Was I too dumb to be scared? Was it just a dream? This next post comes from Reddit user Desiree89. First off, I've suffered from sleep paralysis literally as far as I can remember. This particular episode occurred during a very tumultuous time in my life. A lot of aggression and self-deprecating behavior on my part, combined with some pretty heavy drug use. I passed out one night after being sleep deprived for a couple of days and instantly fell into a pretty intense sleep paralysis episode. At the time, 17 years old, it wasn't uncommon for me to fall in these states several times a night. However, they were never accompanied by beings. This night was drastically different. As soon as I realized what was going on, I immediately knew something was different about this episode. Somehow I was aware that someone or something was in the room watching me, and it had bad intentions. I eventually mustered up the strength to open up my eyes and was completely horrified by what I saw. This figure in a black, hooded cloak was standing by the door. I had 12-foot ceilings in the room I was in, and this figure had a hunch over to keep from hitting the ceiling. Again, I could feel the energy from this thing. This really hollow, cold feeling rushed over me. I remember thinking, whatever this thing is, it's completely devoid of love. After watching him stand in the corner for a while, he started to move towards me. The cold feeling turned into a hot, flushed feeling, almost like when you get really embarrassed. I closed my eyes and tried to tell it to leave, but couldn't. I could hear him walking towards me, and then he suddenly stopped. I could feel his breath in my face. At that moment, I opened up my eyes again, and to see the most terrifying thing that I have ever witnessed. The very instant I opened my eyes, this thing was now face to face with me on its hands and knees, let out the most earth-shattering scream I have ever heard. It wasn't a normal scream that you would expect from a human, but this really abrasive static sound. It was the single loudest thing I have ever heard. So loud I literally thought it was going to kill me. I know that sounds strange, but that's exactly what I thought and felt. After a few minutes of praying, I was able to shake myself from the sleep paralysis state, only to see the figure cower back into the corner and disappear. Needless to say, my sleep deprivation went on for several days afterwards, which only exacerbates the situation. I've had other experiences like this over the last 10 to 15 years, but never anything that real and terrifying. This next post comes from Reddit user DWWriter7. My sleep paralysis kicks into high gear when I'm in an unfamiliar bed. The only hallucination I've ever had was as an adult while I was on vacation. It started with the usual wake up and start fighting it routine. As I was trying to break it, a green light, kind of like a laser pointer, shot from the ceiling and into the middle of my brain. There was a strange language being spoken and the sounds of machinery in the background. The next thing I knew, I'm walking through some ancient-looking market in an abandoned coliseum with my mother. Out of nowhere, I hear someone in the crowd whisper my name, and then pulled up an invisible force to the center of the space, which is occupied by 3 white men in purple cloaks. Race plays a semi-important role later in the story. The man in the center looked at me as though he'd been the one calling me, so I asked him how the hell he knew my name. When he answered, he spoke without moving his mouth. "Well, I'm one of your fathers." As soon as he said that, I transported back to this dimension through his eyeball and woke up jumping out of my bed. My girlfriend had to sit outside with me because I was too freaked out to even be in the room. Needless to say, it took me a while to get back to sleep after that one. If you have any scary sleep paralysis stories and would like to share them, message me at sleepparalysisguy@gmail.com. Thank you for listening, and make sure to like and subscribe for more spooky content like this so we can grow together as a community, because you are not alone.